Up the phone, I know that you hear me calling. Don't wanna give you no stress. I cannot fuck with no drama.
Welcome back, guys, to the Reggie vs. Solids YouTube channel. As you guys can see, I'm in a kind of somber mood, right? Somber mood. NFL draft. We're gonna talk about the NFL draft. We're gonna talk about day 2 of the Giants selections real quick. But I got some things to get off my chest. For the guys that haven't seen me in a while, you know, I choose when I come in to talk about Giants content. Do a lot of other things in life, but I wanted to talk about this. So last night was a big night for the New York Giants. We trade up one slot with the Jacksonville Jaguars to go ahead and pick Deonte Banks from Maryland, who I honestly thought would have went to the Washington Commanders. He's a local kid, being out of Baltimore, up the road. I know the Commanders was looking at him, scouting him a little bit. They ended up going with Emmanuel Forbes out of Mississippi State, I think. And then the Giants ended up getting Deonte Banks from 20 to 24 picks in the draft. The wide receivers went, right? Starting with Seattle taking Jackson Smith-Njigba. And the last pick went to Minnesota. And they picked up Jordan Addison, who was slotted to the Giants in a lot of mock drafts. So the Giants went corner, as we need. We don't want Darnay Holmes starting at all. He's totally trash, in my opinion. I'm going to stick by that. And you know, I don't do the PC stuff on this YouTube channel. Leave that up to those all the bigger channels and everything like that. You know, that's fine. Let them do that type of thing. All right, man. So the Giants, we pick Deonte Banks with our first round pick. Move up one slot. We give Jacksonville Jaguars our 5th round pick and one of our 7th round picks. We do have multiple 7th round picks. And we do have also multiple 5th round picks, being that we have a compensatory selection via the Kadarius Toney trade. All right. So we pick Deonte Banks. We satisfy the corner need that the Giants did have. That way, Cordell Flott can stay in the slot because he's definitely not an outside corner. And then Adoree Jackson's there, and we can hopefully get Deonte Banks to be our number 1 corner, as we're probably going to move on from Adoree Jackson at the end of this new calendar season. All right. My issue, right, with the Giants, Joe Schoen, Brian Daboll, is we have glaring holes that still need to be picked up in day 2 and day 3. Well, day 2, the second round and the 3rd round. Guys, I can't get happy with this pick until we see what's picked in day 2, basically, in the 2nd and 3rd round. There's no way the Giants, the New York Football Giants, can leave this day, I'm not even going to talk about draft, F that, can leave this day without shoring up the center and the wide receiver positions. All right, I got my draft book right here. I'm gonna break it down. I got my draft book right here. I get these every year, old school, right? And I'm looking. We need center help bad. We need guard help too, still, but we need center help seriously. Right? And we also need receiver help. We have a bunch of, honestly, wide receiver 3s and wide receivers 4 running around the Giants team right now. Did they address wide receiver in free agency? Yes. They picked up a lot of Jags, just the guys. Just the guy. That's what they picked up. None of these guys are your number 1 receiver. None of them. And the splash pick in free agency was picking up tight end Darren Waller. And I always said to my friends, shout out to Joe. We host a podcast, Pro Football Rants with Reggie and Joe, right? I always said to him, I envy the Atlanta Falcons. I envy the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, Washington Commanders. Every team in the dang East, they have a number 1 receiver, except for the Giants. We got one number 2 and a bunch of number 3s. So we need to address in the 2nd and 3rd round. We can flip-flop. It doesn't matter which. We need to address center now. And we need to address number 1 receiver now. That's my opinion. I don't care about anyone else's opinion on this. This is my opinion on this. We need a number one receiver, a big-bodied receiver, not a 5'9" guy running around. We have 4 or 5'9" guys running around right now that are all injury prone. All of them. They're going to give you 4 or 5 games, and then they're going to be out. All right? All of them. Sterling Shepard will be injured again. Wan'Dale Robinson, same. He was a second-round pick last year. Fragile. They're going to give you a couple games. Are they going to be a healthy 17-game season? No. Guaranteed they won't be. Guaranteed they're going to miss at least a game or two. All of them. Paris Campbell, same. We re-signed Slayton. I was hoping that Joe's Falcons would have picked him up. And we give him 2 years, $12 million. In what world does Slayton deserve $12 million? In what world? Clearly it's this one. And I'm shocked because it shouldn't be. There's no way that scrub is worth $12 million over 2 years. $6 million a year for Darius Slayton, who's going to lose you at least 2 games. Every season he's lost us 2 games. Every season. 2. But they said he's cool with Daniel Jones. We give Daniel Jones the money. And right now he's our number one receiver. Darius Slayton. That's the state of the Giants. Let's get to this, guys. The wide receiver room is garbage. Now, I always say this caveat. If we move Darren Waller back to wide receiver, he could be our wide receiver 1, but he's also injury prone. Giants have issues with this old training staff. Terrible. One of the worst in the league. You're going to hear it here. One of the worst training staffs in the league. And prove me wrong. Keep your players healthy. We're at a talent gap with the Eagles. And guess what? The Eagles just got better on the defensive line. So you better show up that center position today. Today. And you better get a wide receiver 1 today. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. So the Giants here. Number 25 pick. We pick Deonte Banks. We show up the corner. That's awesome. Great. Cool beans. I want to be super ecstatic. You know I love my corners. I played corner at Florida State. Listen. We picked the corner. That way Darnay Holmes can hopefully be cornerback number 4. Flott. He stays healthy. Slot corner. And you got Adoree Jackson, who I do not like, at your corner number 2. He's going to be corner number 1 right now until Banks gets his feet under him, so to speak. Banks has holes, by the way. Banks is not perfect. No way. And he's definitely not Witherspoon. He's not. But he runs 4.3. He flashed during the combine. But that play didn't, translate well to all of his playing skills in the Big Ten. It didn't. All right, Giants are picking 25. We pick Banks. Number 57, like I said, I'm hoping for a trade up. Now, we got 2 number 5s. We traded another number 5 because we had 3. And we had a number 7. We trade up 1 slot. I wish we would have just waited because you could still get Joey Porter instead of Banks. And I'd have been cool with that. But you lose 2 draft picks. Annoying, right? Okay, just move up 1 slot. And you flip that pick too. So technically they got 3 picks for us moving up 1 slot. To me, that value was not there because you needed to use the ammunition to move up in the second round. There are some guys. I wanted to move into the 40s, to be honest with you. I wanted to move into the 40s to be able to snatch some of this talent. Let's look at some of the talent. And just real quick, Deonte Banks, we trade up. I like the pick. I wish we would have stayed put and kept the additional 5th round pick and the additional 7th round pick to be able to use those picks to move up into the 2nd round. I want to get to the 40s. But anyway, here's what I want. Right there. I want this sexy guy right here. I want Joe Tippmann. They're saying he's out of Wisconsin. I could have swore he was out of Minnesota. They're saying Wisconsin. I think he was Minnesota, Joe Tippmann. I think this is wrong here. But anyway, I want Joe Tippmann. Yeah, that's who I want. I also wouldn't mind John Michael Schmitz. All right. So if you get Tippmann and then you get Schmitz, because I think Schmitz is Minnesota and Tippmann's Wisconsin, whatever. Anything Big Ten, offensive line, center, offensive guard, sign me up. I always tell my boy Joe that. We need a center, and we have 2 on the board. Remember, I would have wished we were picking in the 40s so we can be able to guarantee one of these 2 centers fall to us. Now, if they fall to the 54th pick that we have, awesome. Then that improves. What we're doing in the draft. Then I can be more excited about Deonte Banks. Was corner a big need? Yes. Remember, we're in competition with the Eagles and the Cowboys to a front. But we need help. You lost Nick Gates, and he went to a rival. He's with the Commanders now. So Giants, what are you doing? We need one of these guys. We need Tippmann or we need John Michael Schmitz, right? Stronsky fell in the draft. We didn't trade up to get him. Great. But you trade up 1 slot to get Banks. It doesn't make any sense. You trade up 1 slot when you could have traded up 2 slots and picked a receiver. That's the reality of it. You move up 1 slot to 25. If you would have moved up from 25 to 24. I had that wrong. You moved up from 26 to 25 or whatever. However it went. And the receivers went 20 to 24. Curses to San Diego because they got us. They pick up who I wanted in the 1st round, which was Quentin Johnston. That's who I wanted. He goes like 3 picks ahead of us. Right there in our grasp. And we lose him. And now San Diego got 3 number 1 receivers. You got Big Keenan Allen, 6'3". You got Big Mike Williams, 6'3". You got Big Quentin Johnston, 6'3". They got towers over there. And we're stuck with scatterbugs, 5'9" guys that are also injury prone. I could see if there were 5'9" guys, right? I could see if there were 5'9" guys and they were healthy or they were sturdy, like a Steve Smith. Nope. We got Sterling Shepard, injured every year, dynamic when he's on the field, but injured every year, every fucking year. Anyway. Wan'Dale Robinson, same thing. He's a clone of freaking Sterling Shepard. We resigned Sterling Shepard to a 1-year deal, whatever. Wan'Dale Robinson injured last year. Great. Paris Campbell injured last year. Great. Slayton stays healthy, but Slayton has the dropsies. He's the worst hands out of all of our receivers. The worst hands. Runs a 4.3. That's awesome. That's not going to just get it done. We've seen it. He's been in the league for like 3-4 years. He's going to lose us a game by dropping the pass he should catch. And he's never had good hands. He's never going to have good hands. Never. He's going to have lapses in coverage and concentration. So we need a number 1 receiver. You got Terry McLaurin. You got CeeDee Lamb. You got, the Eagles have 2. You got AJ. And you got Smitty. They're honestly, they're both number 1s. Smitty's 2nd season, he gets 1,100 yards. And he's going to feast on number 2 cornerbacks because you got Big AJ, who's a clear number 1. And the Giants, the best we have is a guy we got off waivers, which is Isaiah Hodgins. Shout out to Isaiah. You saved our ass last season. He's not a number 1. He's a number 2 at best. And he's really a number 3. But in our system, he's a number 2. That's awesome. Shout out to Isaiah. Glad we signed you, bud. We lose our second most productive receiver last year in Richie James, who's a practice squad player. We better get center, and then we better double up in the 3rd round and get our number 1 or our big-bodied wide receiver. I'm praying that they make Darren Waller a receiver again, because remember, he came into the league as a receiver, as a tall receiver. That gives us our receiver size. I'm talking semantics right now because I know you can move Darren Waller in the slot. I hear you. I want a fucking number 1 receiver, period. And I want a starting center. It better not be linebacker. It better not be defensive line. It better not be safety. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Right? Put Landon back at strong safety. Yeah, he's a liability, but he can play it. And he's made the Pro Bowl in the position since you lost Julian Love. And remember, you still got Belton, who was like a 4th, 5th round pick last year. If you want to do that, you still got 3 safeties to run around. And McKinney better be healthy. Don't be in Cabo on the ATV. None of that crap. Fuck Cabo. We're trying to get better and go deeper in the playoffs. Giants. You need a center. You lost Gates. You need a center, and you need a big-bodied wide receiver. We have none on the roster. None. Sandio running around with 3 6'3" mofos, and the Giants are running around with 5'8" and 5'9" guys. It's ridiculous. And you don't have to be big body to be a number 1 receiver. We see Terry McLaurin he's sub 200 pounds, 6 foot, certified number 1. If we're gonna do that, then go get Jalen Hyatt. Jalen's like 175, but he's a legit 6-footer. Then go get Jalen Hyatt. I've seen him beat Alabama 5 times in one game. 5 times for 5 touchdowns. I've seen him do it. With blue chippers, all of them are 4 and 5 star guys. I've seen him beat them. So he has some limitations, but you know what? He's a rich man's Slayton. So you go get Hyatt then in a second. But I would really, if you're going to go Mingo, because the Giants love a Mingo, Jonathan Mingo out of Mississippi, 6'1", 226. There's your big body guy. If he slips to the 3rd round, then you get him. You better give him some touches. But this BS that we're doing can't go past today. Get Tippmann or get John Michael Schmitz. Have them plug them in day 1 centers. You've seen how good Jason Kelce is. Kelce wasn't a 1st round pick. Don't we want to have that for the next 10 years? Pick up Tippmann. Pick up them Northwest guys, them corn-fed boys. Kelce was University of Cincinnati, the Midwest. Pick them up. Pick up Tippmann. Pick up Smits. In the 3rd round, you get your corner. You get your receiver. A.T. Perry's out of Wake Forest. I like Higgins out of Stanford in the 3rd round. 6'3", 220 something. Pick him up. We need a big-bodied guy. Kenny Golladay ain't it. He's gone. Hodgins is the only one we really have with size. So that's my thing, Giants. I didn't want to go on too long, but I had a lot of draft thoughts. Had a lot of jab thoughts. Let me know what you guys think, but this is my opinion. I stand 10 toes on my opinion here. The Giants better go center, and they better get the receiver in the third round, but it better be a big body guy. None of these scatterbugs. We got 15 scatterbugs on the roster right now. Our second most productive guy goes to Kansas City, Richie James, or wherever he went. He's our second most guy, and he's a practice squad guy. He's gone. No more Richie James. Got himself a check. Shout out to you. You did what the NFL dream is. Make it from a practice squad to an actual starter and produce. We wish Kenny Golladay would have did that. We wish Kadarius Toney would have did that. We still without a number one receiver, and you paid big money to Daniel Jones. Saquon still doesn't have his contract that he wants. You're on dangerous water here. So you better do something about it, Giants, so we can be happy about our pick in Deonte Banks. I know that's a good kid, but we got glaring holes. You seen what Philly did. It should start scaring some Giants fans. They already whooped us twice last year. Beat us down. And if Giants fans, we don't want that. We're fighting with more bravado than the bullshit Giants is putting out right now. We got smacked by Philly. And they just got Nolan Smith, who's going to be a bust. F that guy. But Carter is a stud. They get Carter and Smith. And we're running around with no center. This should be alert for Giants. And there are no other YouTubers talking about it. Because you know the YouTubers. They be on BS. They're not going to talk about it. They're going to talk about the glitz and glam. I don't need this YouTube paycheck. I'm rich in real life. I want the Giants to be there also. So guess what? You know what we need? Pick up the center. Pick up Tippmann. Pick up John Michael Schmitz. Get Mingo since you like him so much in the third. Or get Higgins out of Stanford. Or snatch Hyatt if you can. But you can't go day two without center and wide receiver. And big body wide receiver. I want none of these little guys. We got too many of them. 2 out of the 3 receivers are going to go down with significant injury this year because of the training staff. We don't stay healthy. We've never. Get it done, Giants. Center receiver or receiver center in day 2. Let me know what you guys thinks. Leave a thumbs up. If you don't like how I'm approaching it, fuck it. Leave a thumbs down. My opinion. Standing on it. 10 toes. Giants.
I know that you hear me calling. Don't wanna give you no stress. I cannot fuck with no drama.